Am I audible? Please reply through the chat box. Hello, am I audible? Thank you, Vivek. I welcome you all at this first session of cloud computing as a syllabus for the MCA2 at the academic year 2021. We will start in 1 or 2 minutes. Let the other be there. I have to admit the one or two. It's very good attendance. I request all of you to please mark your attendance at the chat box with your name because we are recording these sessions so that your attendance will be marked automatically. You can
हाँ सर
unmute yourself.
कुलकर्णी सर
Just request that we all are the matured one and we are also from the domain of IT only, so we have to keep the decorum of online classroom. You can unmute yourself at any time and you can ask any question if you wish. You can also use the chat box. Pratik, check out the background voices. I request all to please mark your attendance at the chat box. चॅट बॉक्समध्ये आपलं नाव टाईप करून आपला अटेंडन्स प्लीज मार्क करा. How many of you have already enrolled for the cloud computing course, a separate course which we are delivering on every Friday and Saturday? आपल्यापैकी कोणी त्याच्यामध्ये ऍडमिशन घेतलेले आहे किंवा घेतलेली नसेल, enrollment घेतलेली नसेल, तर I request again to get enrolled for that course also. Now, whatever the current topic is there, it's related to the academics part of the MCA2 SEM 3 with the subject of cloud computing. If you face any technical glitch at any point during the any session, not only today, it's a standing instruction for all of you. You can share it through the chat box or through the directly unmuting yourself. Okay, we will start with the session. Let me share the syllabus. Being the very first session, we are going to discuss with the syllabus of the cloud computing. I am sharing the screen of the syllabus. During the screen share, I will not able to see the your direct, but you can contact or you can communicate through the chat box. Thank you. Now, with respect to the cloud, now this is the particular syllabus of the cloud computing. That's subject code with the 34 IT 34. It's external subject, external 30 marks and internal external 70 marks and internal 30 marks. As we have gone through the now, this is particularly related to the cloud computing, as many of you were there for the cloud computing session of that course. Now, what are the COs that the course objectives that they describe the concept of CC, that's a cloud computing, its service model and deployment model to understand, classify the types of virtualization, describe the cloud management and related cloud to the SOA. We will see in detail on the SOA, interpret the moving applications of the cloud, that is the application, and demonstrate the practical implementation of cloud computing against it's related to the application that's apply. These are the cloud course objective. Five course objectives are there. This is course structure, the first fundamentals of the cloud computing. It's related to the how the cloud computing is being emerged. Then what do we mean by the NIS model, which is a very primitive model of the cloud computing? You can say on premise also. Then which are the stakeholders involved in cloud computing, like the cloud service provider, CSPs, then its users and end users. Now, what is the difference between user and end users? Means user means on behalf of CSP, cloud service provider, who are working on the cloud model, they are the cloud users, and for which strata the cloud is being implemented, they are the end user. You can, or in a simple language we can say, the consumer of the cloud computing models. Then we will see the some basic characteristics, benefits and limitations of cloud computing, challenges before CC and applications of CC. Henceforth, more probably we are going to use the abbreviation CC for the cloud computing and CSP for the cloud service provider. Then what do we mean by the CC versus cluster computing or the grid computing? Then the second topic is related to the service models. In the on the last Friday, Saturday only we have discussed that in that course session, that what do we mean by the SaaS, that's a software applications, sorry, software as a service, then platform as a service, then infrastructure as a service. These are the three basic cloud service models which are existing. Then any other SaaS as a service, anything as a service, anything that can be any resource, any storage, even a network, even a database. These are the anything as a service. Means you can share anything through using the cloud service model. Then The comparison between the SaaS, PaaS, and as that's infrastructure as service. Then how to deploy, which are the deployment models of the cloud, public, private, and hybrid. Now this is very much similar to that of the object-oriented concept that the public and private data members or function members we have seen, discussed, and studied in the object oriented. The same terminology is meant here, but with respect to the cloud deployment models. Am I audible? Please reply through the chat box so that also I will get to know that you are there physically also. Thank you, Mayam. Otherwise, it's like we all are so mature that we can use the virtual mode of the attendance also. Thank you. Let us move further. Then we will see some of the cloud platforms, actual platforms like Google Cloud Platform, then the Microsoft Azure, Salesforce, and Amazon Web Services, means AWS. That will be the second. Then what do we mean by the virtualization? Virtualization, as the dictionary meaning itself suggests, that some virtual layer is there, and using or by interpreting that virtual layer, we are communicating with the underlying physical resources that can be any software, any platform, any infrastructure, or anything as a service that are under the physical layer by using the virtualization, and it is done by the way virtual environments, the types of virtualizations can be the server virtualization, storage, or network virtualization. Machine images are being used, and we can use the technology or the platforms like virtual machines, VMware. This is the one kind of software platform to achieve the goals of the virtualization. Then we will shall discuss the pros and cons of virtualization later. Then what do we mean by the hypervisor, types of hypervisor, technology examples will be discussed with respect to the Zen, a power virtualization where Zen is used. Zen is one kind of virtualization model where the power virtualization is used. Then the VMware where the full virtualization methodology is being used. And then the Microsoft Hyper-V. This is the one cloud developed by the Microsoft INC, and where what kind of virtualization is being used, that we will discuss in this third topic or third session chapter of the syllabus. The fourth chapter is dedicated to SOA and cloud management. SOA means the service oriented architecture. Now see, when we are providing the cloud computing model, it depends on the for whom we are providing that model. If suppose we are providing for any particular web portal like Amazon or Flipkart, then definitely that architecture will be the different. If suppose we are providing for any banking application like the online banking or any other, then its architecture will again be different. If suppose we are providing for any educational college or university purpose, then its architecture will be the different. Means the architecture is oriented or dependent on the what type of service we are using, for which type of service we are deploying the cloud model, and that's why it is called as a SOA, service oriented architecture. What are the basic concepts of SOA that we will discuss, that we will going to, then web services, SOA protocol, SOAP, and REST we will discuss related to the SOA, and how to relate the SOA and cloud computing, that we are going to discuss. Then how to govern the cloud. Now these are though management governance it seems very similar to each other, but technically these job profiles, even the job nature are different. How to govern is a different, and how to manage is a different. Then cloud availability and disaster recovery. If suppose your cloud grid is down due to some genuine reason, technical reason, then how to recover from that disaster, that is a DR part. Then the most useful part with respect to your career option, that's a pricing model. How the cloud pricing is done. As we are providing services through the cloud computing models like any software, any platform, any infrastructure, then actually how that pricing will be there, whether it will be on the usage reporting or any particular resource reporting, how the billing and metering will be done on the AWS. That's a service level agreement that we are going SLA agreement. It is a very popularly term the cloud computing IT companies SLA agreement or SLA that we are going to discuss with respect to the AWS Amazon Web Services. Moving applications. Next topic is moving applications on the cloud. Applications in the cloud, what kind of application we can deploy on the cloud. Then cloud service attributes, what do we mean by the cloud bursting. It is as good as the natural cloud bursting, but how technically it is happened, and it's a one kind of disaster. Then how to recover from that disaster, how to secure your data, means end users consumers data on the cloud. If any kind of cloud bursting is happen, that we will see how to migrate data on the cloud. If suppose you wish to migrate data from the Azure to the AWS or Google to the AWS, then how to migrate that data. If that also includes the migration of data from client side to the cloud, or from the cloud to the client side in some of the cases. For that purpose, what should be the quality of services in the cloud computing, and what do we mean by the cloud APIs, that we are going to discuss in that particular topic of moving applications to the cloud. Then the cloud security and implementation of cloud. What do we mean by the basic fundamentals of the security? What is the cloud security architecture? As any network should have a security. If suppose as for the our single user PC or laptop also we are installing the firewalls or any particular antivirus, then how that cloud should be made secured. Cloud means the data on the cloud should be made secured. What kind of architectures are being used for that purpose? That where we will discuss in that cloud security architecture. Then identity management and access control. As we have seen that the cloud service at the very first chapter, cloud service provider is there, cloud users means who are actually technically developing or using that cloud infrastructure, developers or any particular person from the CSP side, and the end user means the consumer of that cloud. These are the various stakeholders, and for that stakeholders we have to develop identity management system, and also develop and compile the access control between them, means what kind of privileges can be assigned to any type of user, that we are going to discuss in that identity management. Cloud computing security challenges will be the next. With respect to that only, what do we mean by the privacy and security in the cloud? These both profile or nature, job natures or work profile are different. Security is a different and privacy is different. And demonstration on the commercial cloud computing infrastructures. We are going to have the some demonstrations also by using. Docker concept, Docker container means it's like Docker and container. I'm going to discuss that in the next session. That what do we mean by the Docker container concept? Then the custody will be there based on the cloud computing or CC concepts. This is a in brief syllabus of our cloud computing. ऑनलाईन मध्ये पण लेट कमर्स असतात. Might be they are busy or due to online traffic they are getting late. I'm going to share this syllabus book with on our WhatsApp group. I request all of you again to join the new WhatsApp group. That's the big data and cloud computing collectively. That's a WhatsApp group. Why collectively I have kept that? Because you also then get the knowledge of the big data, and even the say three peoples, your seniors will also get the or furnish will get the furnishing of the cloud computing concept. These are the some reference book referred by recommended by the University of Pune. All of these are available on our at our libraries. Some of the ebooks are also available. Also, I have shared one apps today on our new group WhatsApp group, which is a flipbook dedicated to the cloud computing concept, which is a useful one to get clear yourself for the cloud computing. Now, being we are shifting towards in the online education platform, I request all of you to please be interactive through the online platform like Chatbox or any other like WhatsApp group. You can use the mail facility also, unless until you're sharing your experiences or you're sharing your feedback with us. We cannot effectively proceed for the completion and effectively disseminating that syllabus. So it's a humble request to all of you to please share your suggestions, feedbacks, any improvement related or anything on maybe through the WhatsApp group, through the chat box, through the live chat, or you can have a direct talk with the particular subject faculty and get your query solved. It might be related to any particular syllabus subject or it might be related to any other career avenue. These are the recommended websites by the University of Pune. I request all of you to please visit that website. Being the very first session, I'm just discussing the syllabus over here. As in the last Friday, on the Friday and Saturday, we have discussed what the basic concept of cloud computing. I'm just giving you the overview. In the next session, we will continue with the same. It's like the bachelorette accommodation. If suppose you are a tenant in any particular bachelorette accommodation, then it's like the that whoever is the owner of that house, he is the CSP, cloud service provider. He is providing that flat, room, or suppose the bungalow to you, and you are the end user of that, means the consumer of that facility. Now that room, bungalow, or flat can be provided only as an infrastructure that the as or that can be provided where the code basis system is there, that is a platform, and that can be provided along with all the utensils, furniture, all kind of other facilities available. Then it can be termed as a software as a service, means you are going to utilize all that, where we definitely we will see all these details in the from the next chapter, next session onwards. If there are any queries, you are most welcome. You can share through the chat box. I have asked yourself to unmute. You can unmute yourself and ask any query. You can also share through the chat box, or you can also ask the query on our WhatsApp group. Being the first session, I'm just limiting myself to the discussion of the syllabus. I'm stopping the screen share. Okay. Is there any query question from your side? I have shared one Telegram group link also with you, all of you at MCA group. It's a kind request. Please join that Telegram group. It's a very good academic and technical discussions are being held on that Telegram group, and it will be definitely useful for your further career avenues. If there are no queries right now to ask, we will conclude with the session. If there are any queries, you can ask. Our next session of the cloud computing will be on tomorrow, 16th at 11 a.m. I will share the meeting details, ID and password on the group by today evening. Okay, so the no queries for now. Okay, thanks, Mayank. We will conclude with the session. I am very much thankful to you as a faculty for patient listening to this first session and expect those who have not marked their attendance at the chat box. So please mark your attendance. Tejas, if you wish to ask something, you can unmute yourself and ask. You raise your hand. Those who have not marked their attendance at the chat box, please mark your attendance with your name. Thank you. Okay, I think everyone have marked their attendance. Okay, note is the HyperX VM and VMware is offline, and MS Azure and AWS is online. Obviously, Tejas, you have been on that Telegram group. You are also enrolled for the some of the course over there. It's a good sign. We are going to discuss this advanced concept in the upcoming sessions. Recently, by the second or third session only, we'll get to know that what do we offline and online management of the different cloud deployment models. Because if suppose we are discussing it right now, other people may not get them. So it's a kind request that we will go through the sequence of that syllabus. You can we can have the academic discussion at the WhatsApp group also. Thank you. With this, I conclude this first session. Thank you. Thank you very much.